Okay, I think we're live. Welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. Sorry, I got something underneath my... I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So, someone was asking about flat fee listings. So, let me explain what that means. I have an experience with that and what I think about it. So, there are agents in pretty much every area who will take a flat fee listing, which means you pay them $100. I think I paid $500 in New York because everything's more expensive here. And they'll list your property for you. A couple of things. First of all, there are a lot of pros and cons to it. So really, let's take a step back. I recommend, and I've been recommending really for ages, that every single person who's in this business get licensed. So sometimes I say that and people are shocked. So a couple of things. There is absolutely, in my mind, zero conflict of interest between being an agent, where you have a fiduciary responsibility to a client, and being a buyer, a real estate investor, where you are buying a property. I say that because of the thousands of sellers I've met with, I don't think there were more than two who were sort of on the border between selling it to me or listing with me. In our area, I'm not getting this. In our area, reject DND. Sorry. In our area, people call me on multiple lines. Because we have very high prices and high price points, there are very, very few people that should list, that are going to sell, that really want to list and should list, who are going to sell to an investor. Here's what I mean. The only reason why I buy properties, right, is because almost everything falls into four categories, right? It's a time issue, so they need to sell really fast, or they need to just have it in contract and have an open-ended contract because they don't know where they're going, or the place that they're building is going to take forever. So it's a time issue. It's a tenant issue, so they have uncooperative tenants and don't want to wait for the eviction, which take forever. Or it's a relative and they don't feel like they want to do the eviction, or they want somebody else to be the bad guy. That happens a lot. It's a municipal issue, so there's unpermitted additions, open violations, open permits. They can't sell it to a regular buyer. Or there's condition issues, right? It's terrible condition. They feel like they're not going to sell it normally. They're going to get hit with repricing. Someone's going to give them a number, and then they're going to do an inspection and say they need a lower price, or they're going to get an appraisal done and it's going to say they need a lower price. So I'd say almost everything I buy falls into one of those four categories. In almost every one of those situations, they cannot sell to a regular retail buyer and list it, right? Let's go through them, right? So if it's a time issue, you're going to have to be on a buyer's timeline, right? That buyer might need to get his kids into school. That buyer may need to get out of wherever he's going, need to come in. You can't do it if you have a time issue. Either too fast, because it's going to take, most deals are going to close in 90 days, 60 to 90 days, or 90 to 120 days if you start listing today. If it's a tenant issue, you can't sell a property with an uncooperative tenant in the open market. I mean, it's foolish. You think you can, but nobody's going to buy it. Municipal issues, that's going to come up in title. You're going to get screwed. It's going to show up at the last minute, and the deal's going to die. That happens a lot. And condition issues is exactly what we said. People are not going to buy a house that's falling apart because they don't know how much it's going to cost to fix. So they're really two completely different areas. So I believe everybody should be licensed, and if you're licensed, you list your properties yourself. It's really the easiest thing. Now, before I was licensed, I didn't think about getting licensed, and I didn't want to take listings, right? And just to go over the three quickly, I know this is not supposed to be about why you should be licensed, but I go over it a lot because people argue with me about it, and I stand very, very strongly behind my principles. The three reasons I think everybody should be licensed are, number one, so that you can list your own properties. That means both wholesale, which you are absolutely allowed to list as long as you don't represent you own it. You have to list it as a contract vendee. And retail. So if you're doing a wholesale property, or you finished a fix and flip and you're selling it to a buyer, you should run your listing. That's number one. That's number two. Really, number one is to have access to the multiple listing service, right? Access to the MLS. It is by far, with nothing that close, the best way to comp out properties. Now, there are ways to get access to the MLS without being licensed, right? Your sister can give you her credentials, which is not allowed. You can, whatever. But if you don't have access to the MLS, you should get licensed to have access to the MLS. That's number one. Number two, list your own properties. And number three is you're going to come in contact with people who just should list or who want to list, right? I've gone on appointments where the person sounded like he really wanted to sell, and I get there and they go, let's list it today. What should we list it for? So that's why I always bring listing agreements with me. So more common is someone who says, this house is a disaster, I need to sell it to an investor. And I say to them, you should not sell this not to me or to any investor. I can list this property for you and get you a lot more money. I say to people all the time. People think I'm nuts. But here's the truth. Here's the real truth that people don't want to talk about. That guy's going to figure it out, right? I'm not trying to screw a seller over. I'm trying to do what's best for a seller. And while I make significantly less on a listing than I do when I buy the property, I want to do what's best for them. And the joke we tell ourselves is that, these sellers don't know they can list. The guy may think, listen, I've gone to plenty of properties where the guy, it was old, but it was okay, and there were plenty of properties in that area selling for that price, and I just told him to list it. And I got a commission from it. Or sometimes they don't list it and they don't list it with me. That's a chance I take. But the foolish idea that I'm going to put in this offer for $150,000 less than he can list it for, and that he's never going to speak to an agent who's going to tell him, you're out of your mind if you sell it to this guy because I can get you $150,000 more, is just a fantasy. So I believe everybody should be licensed for those reasons. Now, what I did before I got licensed, right, was I did flat fee listing. So I had a property, I'd finished up the work, I was fix and flipping for the first 4 years from 2013 to 2017. And what I did was called the flat fee listing broker for $500 and I listed the property. So so that's nice and all. And it was a super hot market, and it worked. But there are drawbacks. So number one is, and really there's three options, right? You can go pay a full service agent, right? Let's say 4%. You can become an agent, which is a hell of a lot cheaper. I think it was $108, in which case you're not going to pay 2%. You're going to pay only 2% to a buyer's agent, let's say. Or you can flat fee list it for $500 and still pay a buyer's agent 2%, right? So you can't flat fee list it and not pay a buyer's agent. So let's explain how a buyer's agent works. I hope we have enough time. Is the listing agent, let's say it signs a listing for 4 or 5%, and if the buyer is represented by their own agent, which is, I'd say, half the time, maybe sometimes even more, depends where, then that buyer's agent is going to get half of it. So if you do a flat fee listing and you put on there that I'm not paying a buyer's agent, what's going to happen is nobody's going to come to see your property. I know you may think, why? Agents should be in the fiduciary. Agents aren't bringing anyone to your property if they're not getting paid. Now you may say, well, let them get paid by the buyer. Buyer's agents have already told their clients, probably several times, you don't have to pay me. I'm going to get paid by the seller. And I talk about a case that happened where I was making money from buying a deal, but he needed to find a place. So I said I'd represent him to find him a place. I found him a place. It almost didn't make sense that it was available. Great house, great location, great price. I don't know why nobody bought it. He bought it. Then I looked, no buyer's agent commission. So I didn't care. And in the end, he actually gave me some, which was very nice of him. But that no one's going to show you property if you're not paying a buyer's agent. So you do a flat fee listing, couple of issues. You're still going to pay the 2% to a buyer's agent, or whatever the buyer's agent commission you're going to give. You don't really have control of the listing. If you want to change price, you got to fax it in, email in. They may be quick or not so quick to change. I hate that. I want to be in control of the listing. The pictures didn't come out good. I want to change them. That could be a pain in the ass. But also, it's some name that nobody knows. Now, you may say, hey, if you come work for me, I'm an RPB Realty. A lot of people don't know me. The truth is, people know me, but the point is they can find me. I exist somewhere. Sometimes these flat fee agencies really are hidden. They don't even want people to know that they can be found. So those are the reasons why I think if you're not licensed and you're in the process of getting licensed and you want to use a flat fee agency, I think it makes perfect sense. But our long-term plan, you should get licensed. Again, it's super cheap. You can get a $99 course for the 45-hour course, whatever the hell, a 75-hour course. $8 for the test. You can take out from the library a book called Cram for the Exam. It's $108 to get licensed. If you fail the test the first time, take it a second time. It's $116 to get licensed. Doesn't take a lot of time. You're taking the course online. If you're in front of a computer, you can have it running in the background and just study from the book. It's not time consuming. It's not expensive. It's not hard to get licensed. Everybody that's doing this should be licensed. I stand behind that statement. Anybody wants to challenge me, I'm happy to take you on. So I think that flat fee listings are a good bridge to doing. It's what I did. But I highly recommend that everybody get licensed, and that flat fee listings are just something you can use if you're doing a one-off deal. If one deal, you go Google flat fee listing agencies in your area. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or howtoflipandwholesale.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching any media channel, please click the thumbs up. And please keep the comments coming. This came from a question. It wasn't exactly a question about it, but people asked about it, and I'm happy to answer. The purpose of this channel is to help you, so please keep the questions coming. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video on it. If it's something I haven't covered in a while or never covered, I will do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.